You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Attack on Titan After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Attack on Titan After Show.
And let's all start freaking out like our favorite captain in the world. Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it!
You know, I'm surprisingly good with this. I think I'm going to be the silver-haired woman standing behind him. Like,
Rico. I love Rico.
You do look a lot like Rico.
I genuinely think that she should be in charge of whatever Captain Freakout is in charge of, because she seems to be I mean, she agrees with him, but she seems to be handling the situation a lot better.
Well, he's in charge of freaking out.
Because it's insubordination. If she doesn't, then she'd get shot too.
That's true.
Ta-da!
well, I think if we've learned anything, especially in the Garrison Regiment, people have a tendency to kind of fail upwards.
Yeah.
It's kind of like real life for Los Angeles. I mean,
It's like falling up the stairs.
Well, it's very interesting. Hans is a captain.
I know.
Yeah, there's a reason the Titans keep breaking through walls.
I can't imagine what it is. It's blowing me away. But joining us today...
It's blowing the walls away, too.
blowing walls away left and right, Katie Cullen.
Woohoo!
And currently somewhat not freaking out, but internally freaking out, but not showing it.
That's correct.
John Quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? You cannot see the tornado of emotions currently ripping through my body, but I assure you, it is wild.
It's tearing him apart from the inside out.
I don't
He's
want to
gonna
be
have
next to
hollowed
you for
eyes.
that. I don't want to be next to you for that.
And next to me, the lovely Megan Salinas.
Hi, everybody. I'm actually doing okay. So
She's the only one.
I'm not! No! I'm Dave Klein.
Hi,
And
Dave.
because I am freaking out, I'll commandeer and captain this ship. Because I failed upwards as well. and we're going to go ahead and talk about... Well, first we get a brief recap on last week with the freaking out, Sasha freaking out and all that. But then we get this moment right afterwards where Reiner leads the way to seeing what the hell's going on as cannon shots are fired. And everyone's like, does that mean there's Titans inside?
Well, more to that, like leading up to that. So there was a guy that we actually had seen in episode. It might have been episode 3.
I think it's Daz.
Daz. It was Daz. It is
He
Daz.
has a name?
Just
Yes, he has a name.
losing his mind over both survivor's guilt and facing his own mortality. He was freaking out because like I saw my friends get eaten, and the only thing that I felt was relief that it wasn't me. It's like, oh wow, yeah, that's going to a dark place.
Yeah,
and I
it's
realized
really dark. I mean, on the one hand, you can understand because we see what happens to people when they try to save their friends in the show.
Yeah.
So, and you never know how you're going to react in a life or death situation. So, on the one hand, you know, you can't really blame him for being glad that he didn't die. But then at the same time, right after that, he's like, but then I realized I'm next, and it would be better to kill myself now than to get eaten alive later.
And poor Marco's just trying to keep him from committing seppuku in the middle of the street there. Look at Sasha. Sasha went through all this stuff, but she's still being a good soldier. And Sasha's like, my stomach is killing me. Can I be put on the casualty list? Look at how helpful you're not.
Unless someone's falling off a wall. It's the one time. That's what we
Yeah.
need her for.
Then
People falling
she's
off walls.
helpful. But actually killing Titans in confined spaces or boosting morale or...
And again, you can't really blame her because the one time, you know, she had a Titan to kill, like that was her one job. You know, she failed and had to be rescued. So you can't really blame her for not really feeling great about the situation.
no, she
You
feels
had
hungry
one
about the
job.
situation.
Yeah, exactly. She
Essentially,
feels
that's
hungry
it.
about the situation.
Maybe hangry.
That's her entire range of emotions. It's just,
It's
a
just
level of hungry.
happy, which is full, and
Right.
then hangry, which is not full.
And then we had John like internal monologuing about how, because apparently after they brought Aaron back, like those guys, Annie, Reiner, Bertolt, and John, and all of them were given a gag order. It's like, you are going to say precisely dick right now.
Do not say anything
Unless
about
it involves
anything
the
that's
word
going
dick.
on because people will panic like mad.
And
Lo
John,
and behold, we have people panicking anyway, so for all the good that did.
Well, I mean, once you start shooting cannons inside an inner wall, and you're like, oh, wait, that's not good.
Not good.
That's supposed to be happening on the outside wall, not the inner wall. But after that, we do get new things out of that. A lot of that was in last week's episode, so we immediately
None of that
found-
was in last week's episode.
We got the beginning part with Sasha. We talked exactly
That's
about that.
because we
Because we
started
watched
accidentally
part.
watching that one last week before switching to the correct episode.
I really thought it was like end of the. No, there's a
No.
scene where we flashed to that briefly.
No.
3 against
Okay.
1. Sorry, Dave.
but continuing on, so then,
Yeah.
like, after that explosion, like, suddenly, Reiner, Annie, and Bertold suddenly springing into action, doing something we've not seen them do so far.
I think this was probably. I think this was something, since it was their friend. I think it was something to finally kind of jostle them out of their state of inaction.
They didn't know that. They didn't know where they took. Like, obviously, if Jean had known, like, he would have said something like, "Oh my God, are they attacking them?" But he had no idea where Mikasa and Armin and Eren were. None of them did. They were just like, "You guys shut up. You 3 come
See,
here."
I would have thought it would have been like as soon as they got into the interior, they would have told those 4 to go buzz off, and then they would have just kept Armin and Mikasa and Eren right there. I don't know though. I have no idea.
Or maybe they just put 2 and 2 together really quickly and went, well, someone panicked about there being a potential human titan in the walls. Let's go check it out.
I don't know. It's tough to say because there was that interim that we didn't get because Eren was unconscious and we never got anything to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Although they
So that's all
are
we
the
got.
ones who actually saw and know.
Yeah.
So there is
So,
that
yeah.
there. So we get back to the Titan ribcage, and the eyeball just twitching as Eren wakes up. And one thing that's I think could be important is that flowers seem to have grown in this area where Eren's ribcage has blown up.
They do focus on that. I don't know if I think it was there before.
Yeah.
Because Armin's focusing on it, and they keep on showing those shots where the ground is broken up and there's flowers now.
Yeah, but it's anime, and they tend to focus on small, tiny, pretty things like symbolism and flowers in the middle of hell. So I wouldn't be surprised if they
Yeah.
were already there, and Armin's just focusing on that thing because it keeps him from freaking out about the giant rib cage above his head.
around.
It's
I'd focus
anime.
on the
It likes
ribcage,
that
I don't
shiny
know.
symbolism stuff, and I don't think Eren's power is to make the flowers grow.
We would have
can
to
do lots of
Generally
things.
speaking.
we could have to go back to the previous episode to double check this to be sure.
See if the flowers are there.
People listening comment in the section if the flowers were there or not. If the flowers did grow there, then that is both an implication, but I mean it's primarily a symbolic thing. It's about this new spring, this new life for or in
Well, I mean,
potential
I
springing
figured it was
forth.
symbolism, but the point is, I don't think we'd seen that in the previous episode, or they were there, unless they were.
They were a little
really
more
making a
worried
point of
about
it.
not getting killed.
Yeah, I think that's the important part of this situation. And as like Mikasa is stoic face Mikasa, while Armin is like you see like the hamster wheel just running in his head as he's trying to figure everything out. Like that's his coping mechanism is I'm going to go back to RoboCop mode where I scan everything and proceed to come to conclusions. Whereas Mikasa just like starts shutting the doors in her brain and it's just goes into this dark place. And that's like you kind of see they're both like both of their
They
coping
both get
mechanisms.
intensely focused
Yes.
on different things.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Combat, flowers.
Well, yeah, I mean, hers is immediately like, well, all you need to know right now is that Eren just saved us. So let's move forward. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that we need to know.
sense. Moving on.
And
That's
Eren's
almost a
Before
not so
that
subtle
hamster
nod to
dies.
And-
not so subtle nod to the audience. Fuck you. Go on.
So Eren come breaking out of the Titan and starts asking the questions that we've all been asking, like, where the hell has my father been for 5 years?
Why didn't
One of
he?
those
If he
questions.
knew, why didn't he say anything?
I remember him telling me that all the answers would be in the basement. Why was he keeping them in the basement? Why our basement? Why didn't he tell anyone? Where is he been?
And then
Why
we
did he
have
give me
Mikasa
this?
again going, that's not important right now. We need to focus on not dying first before we figure all that out.
And then
But he does start telling people about the basement. So here he tells Armin and Mikasa about the basement. So he starts delving that information out to other people.
Yeah, whereas like as we're seeing like outside of the smoke, Captain Freakout. I know we actually know his name's like Werman or Woman. No, he's Captain Freakout from now on
Yeah.
forever. That is his name.
Yeah.
That is his job.
He cannot have another.
Yeah. So Captain Freakout is talking to what? Rikos or
Rico.
Rico. And Rico is like trying to add like a genuine voice of reason to the entire situation, trying to almost steer this guy's thoughts, as you said, like he's agreeing with him, but also adding those like little touches of logic and reason, trying to
calm him down, yeah.
Trying to calm him down, trying to steer him to the conclusion of maybe let's not. Let's wait till somebody with a higher pay grade shows up. Say General Pixis, which we haven't seen, where we're going to see again in this episode. Sorry, God damn it, I let that one go. Anyway, and so like that's what she's trying to do, and then we're getting back into the smoke, and once we get into smoke, we see Aaron using logic and reason for seemingly the first time, coming up with a plan, and he presents the idea of like as soon as like before they can do this, before they shoot us again, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go to that basement. And Mikasa's like, yeah, well, you're not going alone. And
Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not.
Well, we also get another thing here in this moment, too, which is Aaron bleeding out of his nose. So it seems to be like a repercussion for going into Titan mode.
And
Twice
Armin,
in like what, half an hour?
And Armin points out that he looks really pale and he's probably exhausted.
And his heart
he's-
rate's going crazy.
He's still got adrenaline going, so he thinks he can probably still keep going.
Yeah.
But if he were to do it again so soon, who knows what kind of effects it might have on him.
Yeah, and honestly, when his nosebleed first came up, since this was anime, I was like, oh, he's got a murder boner.
It's like, no,
course.
he might actually be dying.
I like that
Again.
the series stays away from those kinds of tropes.
Yeah.
For some
I'm really
reason,
glad
it takes a
about that.
lot of effort to regrow your entire arm and leg. I don't know why, but it does.
But let's get back to Aaron's second idea.
So it's to believe in Armin, to actually negotiate. So that is Armin, who is having this freak out moment of once again believing that thinking he needs to prove himself somehow, that he can't stand up or like hold up to anything, even despite the fact that his plan is what saved everybody just earlier in a few episodes ago. He's still just having this moment of doubt in himself. And that's when Aaron suddenly turns around and is like, it's you who we need.
I think
this
these
is a-
past two episodes past couple episodes have really let Armin shine, and I really like how like he basically stood up and just the way they went about doing this scene, I thought was really great.
Well, and keep in mind, this is a world that seems to value physical strength above all else, which is why everyone loves Mikasa so much, because she's such a giant badass, which is why the 3D
She's like
maneuvering...
100 soldiers. We can't lose her, sir.
Which is why the 3D maneuvering gear was like 95% of the who gets ranked where in training. So Armin is really smart, but not very physically adept, and so he spends this whole time thinking he's useless, he's worthless, he can't defend himself. He's the only one who can think his way out of a paper bag.
Well, it could also explain like why humanity has been losing this war of attrition against the Titans, because they're not thinking, they're trying to fight clearly physically superior opponents through physicality alone, and we've seen how well it's working.
Extremely.
Well, if everyone was Mikasa, though, or Levi, it'd be
We
fine.
can't all be Mikasa. But another thing that's really valued in this society is complacency.
Mm-hmm.
Don't step outside of your designated job, or like don't step out of your place. Don't speak up. And
Don't
so
think of the outside world,
Having
don't-
Armin speak up, in defiance in this episode, like literally with their lives on the line, it was fantastic. I really liked that.
And he does one of those, as we're starting to get a lot in Attack on Titan, those screaming with everything happening and moving, and the screen is shaking because he's shouting so loud. And
Did you like the jet stream salute? Like like they showed like the power lines, like
That was the most epic salute I've ever seen in anime.
But first he tries to reason with the regiment and Captain Freakout, and
Beyond all reason.
Right,
Yeah.
pointing out that, hey, look, we have a Titan on our side. No, that's not good enough.
He tries
No.
to work with logic. When logic fails, he goes to psychology. Like they're questioning the loyalty of Eren and everybody, so he does the most loyal thing a soldier can do. He salutes and declares that his life is forfeit. Like he's doing all of the things, showing the correct symbols that will respond in people's minds.
Yeah, so to not only hit them on a psychological level, but on an emotional level too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's brilliant.
And this is a good mix of showing like different tactics, and that he is smart enough to utilize like, oh, this tactic didn't work, I'll switch to another tactic. It's like asking someone for a favor. You're like, oh, begging didn't work, I'll try this new tactic.
I'll
Ben
try
Franklin
blackmail.
effect,
Yeah,
essentially.
blackmail, perfect
Only
tactic.
instead of a favor, it's your friend pointing a cannon at you.
Yeah, so asking for the favor of not killing us.
Yeah, that ain't
Wait,
a friend.
Your friends don't do that? That's not a common thing.
No, no.
Can't wait to hang out with you later,
Hang around
John.
with.
Apparently sociopaths.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You need new friends because those are not good friends. They are
Those are
not
not
a good
friends.
influence on you.
We're not friends. That is a target practice.
Don't tell him these revelations. He doesn't need to know these things.
He friends with you.
No.
He
Cannon to
friends
John?
with you.
What? What?
No,
No,
Dave,
no.
that's not nice.
He doesn't willingly associate with
Dave.
me. Are you guys kidding?
Oh,
So-
poor John.
So after doing all of this, Keanu freak out, still not seeing anything, and just completely lost all rationale as he's so frightened. And as he's about to point to have the cannon shoot, Commander Pixis shows up and saves the day.
Love Pixis.
For a big man, you're built like a fawn. Okay.
Well, yeah,
That's a great summation of this.
Hell of an entry line.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it's nice to see. You know, how many episodes has it been since we've seen Pixis?
Like 5?
Leaving the interior.
Like right after the episode where where the Colossal Titan shows up and actually kicks in, shows up and kicks
Was
in the
that
door.
4
immediately
episodes
after-
ago?
I think so.
At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, so like it's great to see, you know, this person who made such an impact 4 episodes ago actually come in, not necessarily save the day, but kind of come in and save the day.
It took him that long to get there.
Well, have you seen how big those districts are? They're
I have
huge.
now with that pan shot. Holy cow.
Well, I mean, he was also, you know, drinking along the way, having fun flirting with girls, you know.
As you do.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's one of the key things. Like they call Pixis. He says that he's supposedly an extreme eccentric, which is a nice and polite way of saying that he is bumblefuck nuts. That's
crazy.
That's what you call somebody when they're rich and powerful. You call, like, rich people are never crazy. They're eccentric. Has anybody noticed that? So
Here's
like
the
people.
thing. He's good.
Good. Yeah.
He gets
is
results.
Good.
And we see like that first, like the first shot of his insanity, he's staring down at the Titans and he's upset because there's not a hot female one. And he's like, man, you know, if only I could get eaten by a hot female one, I would not
Well, I think
feel too bad.
it's more of if I have to get eaten, that's the way I'd prefer to go.
Just drinking at the same time, just taking plugs from his flask.
Has anybody seen Monty Python and the Meaning of Life?
Yes.
No.
It kind of reminded me of a scene from that. Like, if you're gonna go, if you get to pick the way you go, that's the way to go.
It's not a bad one, I guess. I mean,
Peacefully in my sleep at the age of 105.
But we do end up getting this great shot, though, that you were talking about, where we get to actually finally see just how large everything is as it does that zoom out. And we only see 2 of the walls, so presumably we're not even seeing the 3rd wall, which is the largest one. So that just shows how giant and encompassing these walls are in this area.
and
how
also
much-
how much they lost.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just how much they lost. And they're showing the various districts and showing where the Titans came from, and that they came from the south and attacked Walmaria, and now they're at Tross, which is another southern district. So that seems to be the path they are taking. So that's so it's good to get that information, that geographical information. I always enjoy having that. Makes you think strategy, and then show that strategy
and
too.
it
What they've
gives
been
you a
thinking
bigger
of.
picture of what's going on because
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but during those first 2 episodes, like I didn't realize that there were like kind of little districts kind of on the outskirts of the walls. I just thought it was 3 big walls and that was
Yeah.
it. And so
Yeah.
that when they burst through the first one, I thought that they had burst through 2 walls. So having these diagrams and those explanations really does help kind of
Oh,
figure
absolutely.
everything out. Like, oh, okay, they're only through this area.
World building.
Yeah,
helps.
so great. I'm glad they had that good scene to include. As we then get Aaron telling General Pixis about the basement as well. So now he's, again, divulging this information to multiple people. And he Armin gives the idea now, as General Pixis is questioning them, that boulder that you guys might remember was introduced episodes ago.
Oh, you mean Chekhov's boulder?
Yeah,
That was loaded. That gun was loaded earlier. Remember that?
It's like, man,
The
if-
one where they'd said, we have this big boulder there that was kicked out, and we could use it to plug the wall, but we don't have the engineering knowledge or skills.
right. So they very much make a point of this boulder in previous episode, and here's why. Like, hey, why don't we have Aaron move the boulder? Aaron, who has no idea how to control his Titan powers.
Move
Brilliant.
the boulder.
Kind of reminded me of that scene in Wayne's World 2 where they go outside and there are these guys that are just carrying a plane of glass across the street and setting up fruit stands. And like, so what are you guys doing? Well, you see, every 10 minutes we just walk across the street with it. So it's just, and then they just go, wow, I wonder if that's going to come into play later.
No.
I think I just dated myself right there. Maybe a Wayne's World 2 reference. I'm old, people.
Not really. I mean, I've seen it.
I've seen it. But I was also, I don't
all
remember
My
it.
guys,
point
we
is
are
kind of
not
getting
old.
proven.
We're all old. Anyway,
We're not old.
To go back, but you're right. They set this up episodes ago, and now it's kind of interesting to see whether or not it's going to pay off. Will Aaron be able to control himself if he turns into a Titan again? Can he even do it again, or is he beaten down to the point of exhaustion? Like, will it kill him if he tries again?
That's not going to stop him. He's a shonen protagonist.
And
I
Pixis
mean, they're a
asking,
species apart.
That's true.
and Pixis asking, will you try to do it? Then he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to give the wrong answer. He's like, I'm sorry. I meant, will you do it?
It was, can you do it?
Yeah.
That's a really good question. I've never tried. Okay, wrong question. Will you do it? And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
intense Xehanort
Right,
gaze
like,
going on. It's like, okay, can't say no to that.
It's like, this is just a yes or no thing. There's no in-betweens here.
Do or do not.
There is no
no
try.
And Yoda reference for the
Yay.
episode.
Because we're not.
You can't tell me you weren't thinking that.
I know I entirely was.
But that's kind of what ends up wrapping up this episode, is this new quest of Aaron needing to go into Titan-infested territory as a Titan to move a boulder. So that's what we're going to get, to try and retake the wall and actually do something, as opposed to just constantly being victimized the whole time.
If they can stop the inflow of Titans, then theoretically you can kill all the Titans that have invaded this area.
Right.
So, again, theoretically, it's something that can be done. In theory and in practice are two different things in this world.
But this could still be a really big deal for them, because as far as everything goes, it's just been, let's run away and hide. All right, let's run away further and hide. Let's run away further and hide. And it's like, Titans broke through. All right, well, that area is screwed. Let's go somewhere else.
It would be a huge turning point if they were actually able to retake an area that had been invaded by Titans.
Right.
That has probably been unheard of completely in their history.
This is also the first time that they're actually going on an offensive. Like, all the other times, it's just been like defensive, fall back, like just as David said. But also in part because like they're thinking about shoving this boulder into there because they also don't know how to repair the gate. Like, that seems fairly obvious. Like, if these gates break, nobody knows, because nobody knows anything about them or the wall.
Oh, save us, the wall! The wall! Join the cult of the wall!
Because, again, we've put all of our emphasis on strong people and not bothered educating anyone beyond this is how Titans work.
Because
Now
God
go back
gave
to the
us
farm.
the wall!
Well, that's a very interesting
I don't think
thing.
they believe in God. I think they just believe in the wall.
Well, I mean, that's,
The wall
is
is,
their walls
a
are
gift
that is their
from
God. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's kind of interesting, if we go back 100 years to the point where the walls were first constructed, why would kind of like wall maintenance not be a huge priority in terms of like education and things
Because
like
eventually it becomes heresy. You can't
Well-
do construction on the walls. The walls are perfect. The walls are divine. The walls will never fall. So it becomes heretical to go, hey, maybe we should know how to fix them.
No!
Because by knowing how to fix them, you imply that they are not perfect and not divine, and therefore that makes you a heretic, and you probably either hung or burned at that point.
Well, that's the other thing. We've never actually seen that there is any needed maintenance on the walls. The walls, like, they've been standing for 100 years, and, like, stone structures are pretty badass, but you still have to maintain them somewhat. These don't seem like they need it. Why don't they need it?
Because we used to have technology, and then Titans happened.
I feel like there should be a wall restoration crew
I mean, I guess, like, typically
be.
until a Titan kicks a hole through it, it does,
It's not
as you
really
said,
needed.
it stands pretty well. It's going to be okay. I mean, maybe there's a
guess
little bit
that's
of
true.
erosion from rain, but for the most part, it's, like, going to be all right until Titan decides to kick a hole through it.
It's like the wall in Game of Thrones. No one maintains that sucker, and
It
we know
maintains
it's not
itself.
impermeable.
Yeah.
Bran the Builder built it, and that's all you need to know.
Heresy.
Nice. You know,
Making my point.
But that does wrap up this episode with this trying to retake this wall, and that's what we're going to see them attempting to do. So we'll see what happens. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And actually, we have another
We
thing
have
to
a
mention.
giveaway.
Yes.
Which I left on the couch, so it's not on camera right now.
I will
But
grab it.
do you want to grab
Go.
it?
Run, Dave. We'll
It's the bubble wrap thing in my purse.
Okay.
Do the thing.
do the thing, Dave. And now
I was at Anime Expo this past weekend, the black purse, the bubble wrap thing. Yes, thank you. Was at Anime Expo this weekend, and we decided we'd pick up something nice for you guys. So from our good friends at Puppy Bow Productions, we have, as soon as I can get it open, an etched glass mug. Ta-da! If anyone can see that with the Survey Corps logo on it. And we are going to give it away to one listener. And the way you win this is, if you've got a Twitter, follow all 4 hosts on Twitter, and we will tell you where that is, what our names are. On top of that,
there's Dave.
thank you,
Bannon.
Dave.
it has
Thank
the wings
you.
of freedom on it, all right?
And it's good for coffee. On top of that, comment on either YouTube or iTunes and tell us why you like this show, what it means to you, you know, and we will pick our favorite comment. So, be clever, be fun.
And double your chances by commenting on both iTunes and YouTube.
And we will announce the winner next week.
Yay.
All right, so guys, thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to get that awesome Wings of Freedom mug, because that's everyone's favorite core group. You know it. It's all about Levi. It's all about
The
Levi.
wall regiment.
It is, let's be honest.
The Wall Regiment.
Anyway.
All right, so guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at @TheDaveKlein. That's KLEIN.
You can find me on Twitter at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. And I'm also on the Sword Art Online panels here on Sunday nights.
And you can find me on Twitter at @NowQuick.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. And I'm also on the Sword Art Online panel. Remember to follow all 4 of us and comment for a chance to win the mug.
And we will see you guys next week. Later, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.